at the franchise consulting company, just two things. I am a two-trick pony. I just do these two things. One, I will help you find the right franchise for you. If that's the way you want to go, I'll help you find the right business. And the second thing I do, if you're a business owner and you have some metrics around your business, I will help you turn your existing business into a national franchise brand. So those are the two key things I do. Okay? Here's what I found. A franchise at heart is all about a playbook. It's a manual. Many of you are thinking about starting a business from scratch, and that may be the right path for you. For many others, that is not the right path. Because typically with a startup business, what happens? You're the CEO, and you're the janitor, and you are everyone else in between, yeah? It's all you. With a franchise, that's not the case. Your franchisor, if they're a good, robust brand, will say, tell me your name, son. Austin. They will say, Austin, as a franchisee, as our franchisee, here are the top 3 to 5 things you as the business owner need to focus on every day. All the other stuff, what I call back-end administrative stuff, we will take care of that. That's why you are giving us a royalty every month. Does this make sense to folks? Yeah? There are some very significant differences between a business that is started from scratch and a franchise business. So I want you guys to be aware of that. Ideal franchisee. I found there are 2 key things. In every client I've ever placed in a franchise, they need to be able to take direction well. So when my franchisor hands me the playbook and says, Faizun, here you go, here's your playbook, execute now on this. I have to be able to do that. Concurrently, and this might seem antithetical, concurrently, I also have to be self-confident and have those leadership abilities that I can still take whatever the business is, use whatever's up here with my skill set to make the business grow. In the absence of either, you will become too dependent on your franchisor, not a good thing. If you are not willing to follow the guidebook, you become a rebel. Chances are down the road, you and your franchise will separate because you're not following their direction. Does that make sense? So I'm always looking for somebody who can dance this dance. It's a delicate dance, but if you can do it, you'll make a fantastic franchisee. All right. Anybody here heard about the VetFran program? No? Anyone? No one? No, you don't count, Bob. VetFran. The VetFran program was started in 1991 by the franchise industry. Why? Over time, we found franchisees, particularly franchisees that are veterans, make amazing additions to their business systems for all of the reasons we just talked about. The key thing with the VetFran program, currently there are about 600 of my brands who are member companies of this program, and what they do is offer financial discounts, training, and mentoring opportunities to those franchisees who are veterans. So you guys have this unique position where you are able to take advantage of these things that my other clients who are not veterans simply cannot. Make sense? I like to call it a distribution channel of a product or a service, a distribution channel on steroids. How many of you, if you started a business from scratch, how many years could you go without turning a profit?
3 to 5 years.
Wrong. How many years can you go without turning a profit?
6 months to a year.
6 months to a year. Overwhelmingly, that is what I hear. In a franchise system, one of the reasons you are giving royalty payments every month to your franchisor is in exchange for a much quicker, more rapid startup. You are going to get to profitability that much faster. If it's a good brand, a robust brand, a well-known brand, you're going to do your due diligence. You will find a brand that allows you to start up that much faster. That's one of the biggest advantages. Okay? Many clients, when they begin working with me, will say, Faizun, I don't know if I want a franchise that sells a product or that sells a service. And my response is always the same. It doesn't matter. You want a franchise that gives you robust support systems. You want a business that is truly a business in a box. So Austin here, when he signs on with me as a franchisor, think of a shoebox. I hand him a shoebox. That shoebox has everything he needs to be able to make that business a success. How do they know? They have hundreds, if not thousands, of franchisees around the country, if it's a national brand, or around the world, if it's a global brand, who are using that same system that you just got handed, and they have created robust, successful businesses. Make sense? Some of the cons. Sometimes people will say in exactly these types of workshops, Faizun, this is all good, about the quicker ramp up and all that good stuff. But here's the thing. If I make $100, I want to keep $100. I don't have to give you $20 back as royalty. I want to keep the entire thing to myself. And my answer quite simply is then, a franchise is probably not the right thing for you. Because you have to understand why you are exchanging. It's a give and take. For the systems and processes you are getting, you are handing a part of your profits to your mother brand. Yeah? Okay. Franchisors' problems are your problems. Most people think franchising is about burgers and fries. Could not be further from the truth. Just in the United States alone today, we have more than 3,500 different franchises in more than 100 different categories. These, my friends, are the 5 major categories of franchises that I work with. And underneath each of these categories are hundreds of subcategories. Food is pretty self-explanatory. Automotive, Firestone and Mako, right? These are all examples of franchises that are in the automotive industry. So think of everything that a car might need. Parts, services, that goes into that industry. Can you guys give me an example of a business service franchise? A franchise that provides business services to other small businesses.
Accounting?
Accounting, yes. Come April, what do every single one of us have to do?
Taxes.
Taxes, that's right. Have you guys heard of the UPS store before? Yes. Right? Business services. Give me an example of that last category. Personal services. What do you think that means?
Maid
Maid services. Huge. Both residential and commercial cleaning. Huge industry. This lady in the corner with the hair accessories. In order for you to put those accessories on, what must you have on your head? Hair. Not all the time. True. My husband, he still puts those goddamn hats on. Doesn't have a lick of hair on his head. Anywho. Hair. Hair care. One of the most amazing categories that we have seen that have exploded in the last 2 decades or so. Think of anything as an individual consumer you might need. Massages, pedicure, manicure, waxing, photography. Another big myth in franchising. Faizun, I'd love to start a franchise, but I don't have $1 million. How many of you think it costs you an arm and a leg to start a franchise? How many? Andy back there is laughing. I'll take that as a yes. Right? The reality is, yes, I have hundreds of businesses that start at about $1 million investment. But I also equally have hundreds of other businesses that are nowhere near that are equally as robust. Okay? I don't know if you guys can see it. The middle category, the $100,000 to $250,000, that, my friends, is what we call the sweet spot in franchising. That is that investment level that allows me to show you, the client, the most diverse kinds and types, of franchises that I have. Can you guys read this? There is no automatic correlation between your investment and your potential return. I've had clients who said to me, yeah, it makes me really uncomfortable to think about putting in more money, but I guess I have to. Otherwise, I won't get the kind of returns I'm looking for. Wrong. Wrong. That is not true at all. I'll give you an example. I have a client right now. He is in the last stages of signing on with a franchise that provides pest control services. Oh, by the way, Bob, this client, he came to me from one of our Fort Belvoir workshops. Yeah, he's a veteran. And it's a pest control franchise. His all-in investment into that brand is about $65,000. Businesses, franchisees in that business are making upwards of 7 figures by about year 3. So remember what I just said to you about a quicker startup, time to profitability? Number 1. Number 2, no correlation. Tell me where else you get that kind of return in the marketplace. $65,000 investment. These are the kinds of nuances that I would get into with you if we work together. Do you think typically startup businesses have huge marketing budgets? Can they hire Nicole to do their digital marketing for them? I don't have the money, right? What happens if you're a franchise in a recession? You have the force and the might of the franchisor behind you. They're still doing national advertising in times of recession. You yourself are not. But do you think that you piggyback off of that and get some advantages? Heck yeah. Okay, in a nutshell, if you are even remotely interested in exploring franchise ownership, here's typically the kind of process that you will follow. It's a 4-step process. The first really begins with you and I having a conversation. I want to know who you are. Why are you looking at a franchise? Why now? What do you want this business to give you? Right? Get a sense from you of who you are. It begins with 2 assessments. The assessment gives me a baseline on you. It also includes financials, and I can talk in more details on the next slide. Once I get the assessments back, we set up another time to chat. And this is really where we start off, where we launch, where through a detailed set of questions, through a conversation, I will build what I call your business model. Your business model is a detailed picture of everything you want your business to give you. What are your personal goals? What are your financial goals? What are your lifestyle goals? You might say, I have worked all my life. I am 47 years old. I've never really had time to spend with the family. I'm at a point where that's really what I want to do, but I still have to work. Can you help me find a business that allows me to build the business on my terms, around my hours, and still leaves me time for the things that matter most? So what are those goals? I want to know about them. We build your business model. Step 3, taking your business model, I go into my inventory of the hundreds I work with, and I'll pick out a handful of businesses whose business models most closely matches the one that we just built for you. Okay? Typically, I will introduce you to 3 brands. 2 is too little, 4 I find is too many for most people. 3. In order to do due diligence in the way it needs to be done, 3 is the perfect number. I introduce you to the leadership at that particular brand. You begin having weekly conversations with them. You have weekly conversations with me where we touch in, where I want to find out, what have you done? What homework did you do? Who did you talk to? What did you learn? It's a pretty straightforward, simple process, but it works if you work the process. You'll get inundated with a lot of information from each of these brands. Typically, clients begin with me, start to finish, anywhere between 45 to 60 days. That's really all it takes. I've had a couple instances where it's taken much longer for a number of reasons, but typically this is the average. As you move forward in the process and you're getting closer towards the end, if you are loving the brand and the brand is loving you back, they will extend an invitation for you to attend what's known as a discovery day at their corporate headquarters. I tell all my clients, don't be fooled. You've been in a business interview. You've been in an interview for weeks now. Every call that you have with them, they're trying to understand, will this person make a good addition to our system? Is Nicole going to be a great fit for us? Will she follow our playbook, or won't she? That's what she's trying to figure out. That's what they're trying to figure out, right? You attend Discovery Day, you love what you've seen, what you've learned, and at that point, they'll present you with a franchise agreement. I will say, time out. You're not signing anything until you speak with a franchise attorney. I am not one. I work with some of the best in the country, and I will introduce you to one. You get the contract reviewed, you make sure you are good with what's in the contract before you move forward. At that point, you pay a one-time franchise fee, and you sign the agreement, and you've officially become a franchisee.